Dr. Ahmed Ojikutu is a public affairs analyst and social commentator, and he, like a lot of Nigerians, also have a viewpoint on this issue. First of all, what would you make, Dr. Ojikutu, what would you make of the minister saying that it's not so much a matter of the candidate's age as it is one of complying with the educational standard in Nigeria?
This is a very disheartening situation, and I'm saying this because when you talk about standards, it's not by number of years that you use to measure. What you use to measure standards are the quality of education, the output and the quality of the student, the facilities, the instructors, the number of teachers onto student ratio. So if all these are not totally in our favor, and the president has deemed it fit to put an individual in charge of the educational future of our people, that person should understand that he or she is representing and needs to be much more focused on making sure we have larger number of people that are educated. But when the psyche is about the law and not about the people, you now discover that you continue to come up with policies that does not even add up, and it will affect and give further negative results. Quality of education does not have to do with age. So I do not understand the angle at which the minister is saying it, and it's very disheartening.
Okay, I hear you. As I said, there have been, in fact, we got an educationist who called in last week when we first addressed this program. If I'm not mistaken, his name is Dr. Motosha. I think he called in from Ibadan. And his opinion was that, you know, we've been doing the wrong thing for so long that nowadays we've come to regard that wrong thing as the norm. He was speaking about this whole matter about, well, I hope it doesn't put a slant on it when I use the word, rushing children through education because of their capabilities, for example, so that you might have 13-year-old, 14-year-old, improbable as it might sound to most of us, the rest of us, are passing a GCE examination because there are these few and far between brains. That does not mean that that should be the norm.
Thank you. Do you know that when we emphasize about education and knowledge, the truth of the matter is what is regarded as knowledge yesterday is different from what it is. How you can get access to information and knowledge yesterday is different from how you can get in today's world. Let me give you an example.
Sure.
If you go to the older University of Ibadan or Ahmed Bello or University of Lagos, and you want to have access to a textbook, you probably see people hide textbook from maybe Faculty of Chemistry, go and put it in management, so that when they go back there tomorrow, they'll go and have, nobody would see that textbook probably for the whole of the semester. But now, the information is here. So if you see people that are older and laying emphasis about rigidity of educational and informational access, is so painful, because these people that you are talking about, the 16-year-old of today, know as much as he has opportunity and access to any information all over the world. And if that is the situation, the age argument can never be won by those people that are insisting 18. You see some other people, they come up with this assertion that in UK, in America, that is 18 and they are very strict because they have data. And there are schools in those climes are 90% owned by government. A study I looked at said that out of the 10%, Catholic in the US, Catholic had, the majority of the schools, like 38%. Other private individuals and probably Islamic organizations had the remaining private schools. Now, when you talk about 10%, the government fund 90% of, schools and all that with huge budgets. Now, when they come about some of these topics, they want us to be giving facts that is not really good for us on national TV, on international network. When we read out some of these figures, it's not in our favor. Now, what is the out-of-school children population in Nigeria? UNESCO said it's above 20.5 million. Now, 20.5 million, the minister, in an interview, he said he did not agree, that it should be around 10 to 11, is on record, 10 to 11 million. Both 10 point something million or 10 or 11 million to 21 million is still extremely unacceptable in today's world. People are not going to school. And let me tell you this for free. Do you know that even some of these people that you are saying that you don't want them to sit for WAEC, you are saying you don't want them to sit for JAMB before they are 18. Do you know that in the first instance, majority of them are not even interested? People have to persuade children, persuade people to go to school. Now, that is why you see that mosques, churches, NGOs, politicians across almost all the constituencies will be buying form as an JAMB form, WAEC form, state government. For instance, in Lagos, the state government, I think since President Bola Tinubu's time, they've been paying for WAEC for pupils. If they don't, people will not. And a lot of states across Nigeria is making sure that they do that to make sure that people cross that line. So now, if a policy is coming, understanding our peculiarity, that people do not even want parents to say, I don't have money for WAEC. That's why their children has gone through GS1 to XS3. And when they get to SS3, they will attend classes, they will not write WAEC. That's the end of their education. So if we understand that is our peculiarities, even the minister will have bought free funds, probably, for people as empowerment to help people to move forward. Now, if this is our own challenge in Nigeria and peculiarity that parents do not want to, probably because of financial constraints, they do not have the capability to probably fund the JAMB and WAEC and all that. State government is helping. This is on record. Now, you are now coming up with policy that will say, okay, don't do WAEC now. Come back 2 years' time. The minister will not like that to be his record. I don't pray this even happens to him, because it will have been the worst thing that will happen to an individual. Awolowo is known for academic progression, and a lot of people are paying for people's WAEC, paying for people's JAMB. And you are coming with this. And I think maybe there are people are not really sitting the minister down. Our peculiarity, you can't compare us with America or Canada or UK, because the per capita income is different, the situations are the variables are different. And some of these things, we can't be reading them out. As a people, let me say this, sir. Do you know that an average child in the UK will go to school compulsorily for 18 years. That's what they are saying. In America, compulsorily. And they have a very high percentage of attendance compared to us, that we have very funny records. 8.1 million people, according to just 2022 report, 8.1 million people dropped out from GSS classes. GS1 to 3, they will say they are not going no more.
So the more that can be done to keep them within the school system, the better, right? That seems to be what you're saying.
God bless you, sir. The truth is that what we should do is to improve on the standards. And I've read some of these points out. Improve on the quality of the teachers, the infrastructure, the things that will improve the laboratories, so that even the intention of the 6334, as at 1985, 83, 85, the intentions were, let people have technical skills. Then there were laboratories, biology labs, TD laboratories, so that people will be able, by GS3 when they are graduating, they will have some form of skill set and they can be able to read and write. If somebody is not employing them, they will be their own employer, and they will have a skill set, either making soaps or doing some technical work, and they will be able to be an asset to the system. But when these systems are beginning, because of funding of education is really a serious matter. The private sector, people are starting schools, missionaries, both left and right, and a lot of private individuals are investing in this. And if we see that, okay, there is a gap, that, okay, some are going to university in 14 years, some of the universities understand that, okay, the laws are there, and they know. But the implication is that what they do is they probably peg it around 16. As a matter of fact, with what the minister has brought up, we should all sit back, legislate to put it at 16. Our peculiarities are different. People that got into university 2019, they are still going to final year.
Okay,
they've spent almost 4-5 years that they are supposed to have graduated. There are natural occurrence that will impede, and there are human is ASU strike and all the strike that can be possible. Natural is something like COVID. So people have spent 6 years in school. So somebody now wants to go to school, maybe 16 or 17 plus, or a few months to 18. You are now saying don't write WAEC. Go and sit at home. The minister should not pray for it.
Okay, that's another point that has come up in all the conversations that have ensued, that this probably should have been